Hello, everybody. Surprise! It's Sarah here, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and we are counting down the days to the beginning of Expedition to Soul. It's Friday. Expedition to Soul starts on Monday. We are just days away from all of the goodness coming our way as we embark on this virtual quest. Now, if you haven't registered yet, there's still time to do so. Still time to get your materials. Right on the class page after you register, you will see the printable workbook. You can download it, you can print it, you can just take notes. You don't have to print it, whatever works for you. But you'll find this right on the class page, so you can get that all sorted out. There is some pre-work you can be doing in the beginning. There's the field guide section, pages 3 through 9 as the, well, this is the index. It should be the table of contents now that I'm seeing this. An index goes at the back of a book. Looks like we need to change some words there. But in here, you can see on pages 3 through 9 is the field guide. And in the field guide, there is some pre-work activities that you can go ahead and do right now to sort of get yourself in the mindset of Expedition to Soul, to look at some possible barriers for you to identify them right away, to start looking at your energy and make the most of your experience. I do see a question coming from a YouTube viewer about how to do the Refer a Friend contest. So we are having a Refer a Friend giveaway in Expedition to Soul. There is in the free version in the Facebook group for the free program, there is a thread in the group. What you need to do is give your friends the sign up link. So you can find that in the group, or, if you can't find it, just ask us for it. Share the sign up link with a friend. Once they sign up and they join the Facebook group, go ahead and tag them in the comments of the designated thread. And next week, we will pick a friend group to win a prize. We also have the Refer a Friend contest going on in the upgraded class version as well. So if you refer a friend to the upgraded version with you, and that thread is over in the app group where we're hosting the upgraded version. So same thing, you can tag your friend there in the thread if you refer a friend, and we'll pick a friend group to win a prize. We're always sending stuff out around here. Our mail person is a busy beaver. All right, so what I want to talk to you about today as we get started with Expedition to Soul is a little information from today's Astrocast. If you don't listen to our podcast, well, I would say you're missing out, but I think you are missing out. Anna and I share our personalities, we laugh, we make other people laugh, and we drop some helpful information each and every week on the podcast. And every Friday, Anna, my sister, my co-founder, one of our astrologers, and our program director, Sarah Milne, the other Sarah, who's also an astrologer, they release a short Astrocast for the week ahead every single Friday. And this week, on this Friday's episode, Sarah shares 3 astrology highlights, and then Anna pulls 2 tarot cards for us. Now, I have not listened to the Astrocast personally yet. I will. I just haven't yet. But the cards that Anna pulled for this week were the Fool and the 5 of Pentacles. So I wanted to share a little bit about the Fool and the 5 of Pentacles. Now, if you don't use tarot cards, that's totally okay. We have lots of resources on tarot here. It's one of the things we teach. And I see somebody actually asking on YouTube, I have a friend that wants to do your free tarot. How do I do that? Go to thesistersenchanted.com and you'll find all of our resources over there. But tarot, what it is, if you don't know, we will invite you to use tarot or oracle cards in Expedition to Soul. If you don't want to use cards, you can use those prompts as journal prompts as well. The card spreads can be used as journal prompts. But tarot is just a tool to get out of your own head, really, and look at the information that you're receiving or not seeing from a different perspective. We actually teach a whole program too on helping folks to read tarot or use tarot to guide other people to answer their own questions, rather than giving a tarot reading, to ask questions using the tarot cards. It's mind-blowing. It's a truly exceptional experience. I actually used those strategies this morning and something that I was kind of working through. I pulled some cards, and instead of giving myself like a reading, I asked questions based on the cards, and it helped me to see, just developing the questions, a different way of looking at the situation. Anyway, let me go ahead and talk about these cards. So I don't know what Anna said about it for the energy ahead. So you'll have to listen to the podcast episode today, or you can watch the YouTube video to find out what Anna said about the energy for the week ahead as related to the Astrocast. But I wanted to talk about the Fool and the Five of Pentacles, because when I saw the cards on the blog post, I was like, how fitting for Expedition to Soul, right? The Fool is the beginning of the Fool's journey. These are the life changes, the experiences, the big themes we all encounter in our life. And that is exactly what we're doing as we move forward into Expedition to Soul. So we have this energy here of the Fool. And the thing about the Fool is that the Fool hasn't had the impacts of society or the opinions and thoughts and molding of their parents to tell them how they should be, what life should look like, right? The Fool is just the essence of who they are. It's the essence of who they are, just born at their core, just completely unimpacted, not impacted by all of the things that we're told we should do, how we're told we should be. You know, you should get this kind of job, you should have this kind of house, whatever, rather than just being the joyful people, the wise people that we already are, knowing the next right thing for us, even if it looks different than what everybody else we know is doing. And that is the Fool. The Fool is not impacted by the shoulds of the world yet. And the Five of Pentacles, I think, is also really helpful for Expedition to Soul. The Pentacles suit is the earthly suit. It has to do with the material world. It has to do with money, career. If you watched the live stream I did last week where we looked at self-care and our capacity for self-care and our energy centers, it's very much that lower sort of earthly stuff, everything around you. And fives in tarot in the minor arcana, so we have pentacles, swords, wands, and cups. Fives are always this conflict, and they're this transition point. Like, do we have to go backwards and learn lessons, or do we keep moving forward through the story of that suit, right? And at the Five of Pentacles, what we see is two people out in the cold with a lantern, kind of looking for a place to go. In the more traditional imagery, the people often look a little battered, like they've been out on the street for a while. And the idea here is that even when you are down and out, there is a solution if you're open to seeing it, if you're open to walking into it. And so often for us, it's easier to remain in the sucky situation that we're in than it is to do the thing that will help us grow, to get the support that we need. Because whether it's fun to admit or not, it's like the devil you already know, that saying. When things just suck and money sucks and health sucks and you're just complacent, it's like, you know that though. You already know what's going to happen tomorrow, living the life that you live, right? And here we can look at this to make change. These folks might have to go knock on that door. They don't know who's going to answer it. It's a stranger. It's an unexpected experience. That's uncomfortable to go knock on a door and ask for help, right? So they can keep trekking through the cold snow in the dark, or they can do the unexpected thing. They can do the uncomfortable thing and see what's on the other side of that door. And in Expedition to Soul, we're going to invite you to do the same thing. Do the uncomfortable thing. What's the thing that you thought and never wanted to say out loud? What's the thing that you need to say to somebody in your life to set a boundary, but you don't know what the reaction's going to be? Maybe you said it and that's the end of a relationship. Maybe you set that boundary and you get fired. Maybe you're like, no, I am no longer working overtime. And then you lose your job. And then that's, you need money to live. Like, we all need money to live. But we don't know. And do you hear that noise? There's this noise that keeps happening. I don't know what it is. Anyway, if we just stick in complacency though, it's just more of the same. It's just more of the same. And you have to make the choice. Do I want to be complacent, or do I want more of the things that will bring me joy? Do I want more wisdom in my life? Do I want to feel like the powerful person that I am? Whatever it is that you are craving more of right now, whether that is money. For a lot of people, that's money. Maybe that is more freedom, maybe more time freedom. Maybe you're like, no, I'm cool. I've got a great job. Like I have the money, but I'm working 60 hours a week, or I have a 2-hour drive commute or something, or I just like, I keep missing family events. Maybe you want more of that freedom. Maybe you want more romance. Maybe you want more healthy feelings in your body. Maybe you want more clothing that makes you feel radiant because you just haven't taken care of yourself in that way. Whatever it is that you want more of, you have to get through that complacency. And that complacency is often tied to our shadow stuff, which we're going to talk about on day 3. I'm thinking, yes, day 3 of Expedition to Soul. We talk about our moon signs. And in astrology, your moon sign, it's your inner subconscious and can be tied to your shadow self, which is the parts of self you don't always want to see. And because it's uncomfortable to look at that, and it's uncomfortable to do things that we don't know what the outcomes are going to be, that's why we get stuck in where we are. And sometimes that stuck feeling, we're like, oh, it's not that bad. Things aren't that bad. Your life doesn't have to be bad for it to change. My life, 10 years ago wasn't bad. I had a roof over my head. I had a job. I was, married. We had food in it. Like nothing was bad. We went on a vacation once a year, barbecues with friends, but I wanted more. I wanted a sense of leaving an impact on the earth. I wanted a sense of true freedom over my time and my choice to do what I wanted to do with my time and how I move through the world. And even today, my life is amazing. And against look at my life on a piece of paper, utterly amazing. Nothing to complain about. And I'm so grateful. That doesn't mean I still don't want more. I want to be able to donate more money every month to causes I care about. I want to be able to have more experiences. I want to be able to keep giving raises and great finances to the people who work here. I want to keep impacting more and more people online and all around the world. That doesn't mean that because things are okay and there could be great, that you don't want more. And that's on that other side. It's the unexpected door, like we see here in the 5 of Pentacles. And the areas of your life that are very clearly, you're like, I don't love that. Like I have some areas in my life where I'm like, I don't love that. I still have some health things that are going on for me that make me feel very much just like 5 of Pentacles in the cold, in the dark, trying to find my way. And the changes that I need to make, they are on the other side of things I've not done before. They are looking for support and resources I've not reached out to before. I have several examples of that in my life where there are some things I'm like, that could be different. I don't super love it. And that is knocking on a door I've never knocked on. That's where I'm going to find those changes. And if I'm not willing to knock on that door, like in the 5 of Pentacles, that's when we want to do shadow work and ask ourselves, what am I afraid of? What's holding me back? What truth from somebody else am I internalizing into my own self to make me think I can't do this, right? Like, is it money? Somebody said you can't spend money on that thing. Is it somebody said that like people don't do that? It's not right. It doesn't make sense. You have to live life this way. You have to have this job. You have to have this house, whatever it is. Is there a story tied to my shadow self that I haven't noticed before? Is there a fear from, so many of us have things that happened forever ago, but that little thing that maybe made us feel embarrassed, feel less than, unworthy, when we go to stand up in front of a room, or we go to ask for the raise, or we go to tell our partners the things that we really want to tell them. Maybe there's a fear of visibility. I know it's so many silly things, but I remember, this is an example of a silly story. I was in the 6th grade and I was in a science class, and there was another science classroom across the hall with a different group of kids who we were like on teams, they called it. So you just had your team and then the other team. We didn't commingle. So other kids I wasn't in classes with, and my teacher asked me to go get something from the other room. Now in 6th grade, I was the first kid in my class to like blossom. I was the first one that I knew of to have my period. I had boobs before everybody else. And while I'm only 5'2", 5'3" now, in 6th grade, I was one of the tallest kids because I just grew before everybody else. And then I stopped growing right after that. And everybody else blew past me. But I walked into that classroom, and one of the boys made a comment about me stuffing my bra. And in 6th grade, right? So I was like 12. And And I don't walk around thinking about that like today, I don't think about that every single day, but how at such a young age, me walking into a room full of strangers essentially and having somebody criticize me in that way or say this very embarrassing thing. I was making this whole list of like visibility stuff or being afraid to be seen recently. And surprisingly, like that was on the list. I was like, oh my gosh, that has actually internally stuck with me all these years, even though it's such an insignificant thing. Right now, I'm a grown up. I have kids to take care of. I have aging relatives to take care of. I have bills to pay. I have staff to pay. Like I got real big girl things going on. And I do not walk around every single day worried about my boobs. But that little bit, though, at that young age, like embedded itself and made me afraid to walk in front of people for years after, through middle school, through high school, right? And then that impacted how I moved through early adulthood, which has all been hurdles I've had to come over now. Now, there's been bigger things in my life, like more impactful things. And I share that experience because it's such a small, almost insignificant thing in my life. But it's how those small, insignificant things, and then also the very big things that we can clearly point to and say, that was freaking traumatic. And now I'm afraid to speak my truth. Now I'm afraid to show up in front of people. Now I'm afraid to spend money. Now I'm afraid to do whatever. It's those things combined, these little insignificant things, and the things we can clearly point to that embed themselves into our shadow selves, which make us afraid to take the next step. So again, the Astrocast this week, it came out today. Sarah Milne, our program director, one of our astrology teachers here, she shares 3 things you need to know for the week ahead around astrology. And we are coming into a full moon. So that was probably on last week's, now that I'm thinking about it, because that's coming up here. But we have that energy, and then we have the waning moon energy. So you'll have to listen in and see what else she shared. I haven't listened to it yet. And Anna pulls 2 tarot cards for some intuitive insight for the week ahead. And I just looked at the blog post and saw that she pulled the Fool and the 5 of Pentacles. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what she said, but those are perfect for Expedition to Soul as we kick off, because the Fool, again, is that just that excitement for anything, that thirst for adventure, that thirst for life, for what am I going to learn today? What is out there? This is so exciting. And then through our lifetimes, that gets beaten out of us by other people, by ourselves, and it all gets tucked away into our shadow selves until we're feeling like no one's there to support us. Like we are lost in the woods and money is tight, energy is tight, the world is dark, and everything feels hard. But even when everything feels hard, there is a resource. There is a resource there, and you have a resource within you. You each have your own inner wisdom, your own truth, your own authenticity, your own purpose in this world right there within you. And sometimes, though, you've got to knock on an unexpected door and not be afraid of what's on the other side to get the benefits of that. When we look at the suit of Pentacles in the story in tarot, after the 5 in that suit, which is what we see here, we have like work that needs to be done. We have slow and steady work, consistent work, apprenticeship, finally ending in abundance. But that only happens if you make the choice to ask for help, whether it's of your own self and to get out of your own way, or the support of other people or resources or whatever that is. And luckily here, we have a whole community of people. If you share in the threads each day of Expedition to Soul, if you're in the upgraded experience and you share in the app group, you have a whole community of people to help support you along the way if you ask for it. And if you ask yourself your truest, most deep questions and are honest when you answer yourself. That's the key there, being honest when you answer yourself. And through all of that, you will have an amazing Expedition to Soul. And if you love it, then we really invite you to consider joining us in Holistic Witchery, which is our ongoing program, and our membership, which you'll get access to with your registration. So we have all the resources to keep this journey going for you for the foreseeable future, right? It doesn't have to end on Friday, a week from now. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. What you're doing right now, the invitations that you are going to go through over the next week, when you reclaim your energy, when you look at being your own best ally. Somebody always cries on that day. When we do shadow work with the moon, when you create your magical talisman, when we look at putting this all together for growth, that is just the beginning for you. There's so much out there. There's so much more for me. This is just the beginning. We are always in the middle of our life, actually. And as I say, it's the beginning. We are always in the middle. Everything's the middle, right? You can always rewrite that very beginning and rewrite the end by what you're doing right now today. So this is the beginning of your next middle section, the next chapter, right? There you go. Let's see here. So I'm going to check out some comments, and I see Liv is asking, holistic is the upgraded now. No, holistic is a whole program. Holistic is we go through it 4 months. You get a year's access to our membership community with 10 different learning pathways. We host 4 moon gatherings a month to go through intention setting, integrating your intentions. It's a whole community and program. There is an upgraded Expedition to Soul experience, which is only $39 if you want to register for that. And through that, you get, let's see if I can pull it up and show you. If you want to do that, you get access to the materials in our app, which this is our app here. And all of the Expedition to Soul materials then are, let me find it, right here in the app for you. So you don't have to go looking for emails. The community is right there. And if you're like me and your life is very, very full, my life is so full between running a company, helping people all around the world, homeschooling, plus taking time every day for myself to go on hikes and walks and adventures. And we love to go to new restaurants and things like that and travel around in our big camper and just experience everything we can experience. Convenience is key for me. If it's not convenient, I'm not going to do it. So having the app and the materials right there in the app, you do get bonus integration work. Like on Monday, there's a visualization with our healer. Anna and Sarah Milne hosted a Zoom call this morning you can watch the replay of to talk about the maps. And I hear that a lot of community members shared and that it was a moving experience. So you can definitely check out the replay of that if you weren't able to join in there for the live that was held this morning. Anyway, that's all there in the app. And Liv is saying, okay, awesome. Missed it last time. Yeah, no, Expedition to Soul, you can still do the free Expedition to Soul if you would like. Holistic Witchery, once you're in, you're always in Holistic Witchery. You're always in. You're a lifer. We won't let you out. How creepy is that? This lady on the internet told me that once I was in, I can't get out. But no, the Holistic Witchery, it's our big program, and it's truly life-changing if you go through it and like apply the things to you. Anyway, you don't lose access to that. Let's see here. Kirsten saying, I packed my new book to read. Awesome. My cards. Awesome. Yeah, I've got, what do I have here? My field guide. My whole workbook's all printed out. I've got my tarot deck in my Expedition to Soul. We got all this new swag. I feel like I should just be like a commercial of swag and the book we wrote. We're really kicking things up a notch here at the Sisters Enchanted lately. Yep, you can find our podcast. The podcast is called Expedition to Soul also. We changed the name of it this year because we think that this experience is so impactful. And we were like, that should just be the name of our podcast. Let's see, Morgan. Hello, Morgan says, always see the shadows. What needs to be fixed? It's fixing it and getting on track. Yeah, it takes time. I've been working on visibility issues, like really speaking my truth for years now. And that might sound surprising to people who see me on camera just sharing. But in person, I get pretty intense social anxiety when people are like standing in my space. And I get really worried about sharing stories that people might perceive me a certain way, right? Like if I share stories when things weren't good for me, that people might think I'm like, just, oh, woe's me, pity me. And if I share stories of success now, where I'm like, my life is amazing, that people will think like, oh, who's this snobby snob? right? So I have these, and none of those are true. And if people do think that, that's their thoughts to think. That's not my problem. But these are things I have to work on right alongside everybody else. And that's that idea that just because things are good doesn't mean they can't be better. Just because things are good and you can be grateful for what you do have and where you are doesn't mean that you're not entitled to more, that you can't have more. Because when you have more of whatever it is that you want, whether that's joy, health, romance, the sexy time, money, time, freedom, whatever it is you have more of, you have more of that to contribute to other people. If I have more money, that means I can hire more people and I can give more women money in their pockets to empower other women through small business. When I hire more teachers for our programs, when we host our live events, our membership community gets 2 live events a year. And when we have guests, we pay them to be guests. So I'm able to support other small business owners who are women and put that out there into the world, right? I'm able to donate to causes every month. So you can always have more. When I have more health, I have more energy. I have more energy to come and support people. I have more energy for my kids. I have more energy to care for my aging grandparents. When I have more time, then I, again, can then have more energy because I'm able to spend time doing things that energize me or to recover and recoup, right? So having more is not a bad thing. That's a really good thing. Like want more and be grateful. I'm super grateful for my life. I'm grateful every day for it. I look around every day and I'm like, how did I get this life? This is not the life I was born into. I was raised up in a 600 square foot apartment, a single mom, an emotionally abusive stepdad, physically abusive at one point. Like that's not what I was raised into. And somehow my life is it's glorious. And I'm so grateful for that. And there's more to be grateful for. Let's see. Let me just keep reading through these comments. Let me get off my soapbox for a minute here. Let's see. So I see somebody asked on Facebook. I think Christina answered the question about getting into the group on Facebook. Yep. Let's see here. Amber says Holistic Witchery is truly life-changing. Yeah, Amber is a graduate of Holistic Witchery and our astrology program. And we have a like upgraded membership program, and Amber's a contributing service provider doing astrology readings in there. It's pretty exciting. Tara says is it Tara or Tara? I never know. Anyway, the Zoom call this morning was very moving and enlightening. Yeah, Anna messaged me and said that it was a beautiful experience and an emotional one. Let's see. Liv says, so scared of shadow work. If I'm ever going to be ready for the drain that will come for it. You know what? If you didn't do the self-care or read the magical self-care book, check it out because shadow work, one, it doesn't have to be draining. Two, if there is something that is draining, then step away from it. You don't have to do that bit of shadow work. Shadow work can look like just understanding where you're self-sabotaging because of a crazy fear you're telling yourself. It doesn't have to look like digging into the deep, big traumas. I shared just a moment ago some emotional and physical abuse. I don't sit around doing shadow work and thinking, oh my goodness, my stepdad, this thing happened and that made me be like who I am as an adult. No, it's more like this thing happened to me and now I feel this way. And how is that impacting my future? It's not dredging up. There's this misconception that it's dredging up the past. You know what? That's what therapy is for. That is really what therapy is for. To go through and say like, this thing happened, process this emotion. That is therapy. Shadow work is, I had this experience and it's keeping me stuck here and I don't want to be stuck here. How do I then move forward? And what's that doing to my future? So every time that I think to myself, I shouldn't be visible because of these things that have happened in my life that have made me want to not be seen by other people, when that's stopping me in my tracks or moving forward, helping more people and changing the world in a bigger way, then I have to just tell myself that this is shadow stuff. It's showing up right now. And that is not going to get me where I want to go. And if I want to process that, if I want to move through it in a bigger way, that's what therapy is for. Shadow work is for, this is a shadow that I have. Just like Peter Pan, looking for his shadow. If you feel like you're stuck and you don't know why, you got to find that shadow, get out there like Peter, sew it back onto your foot, because it's through your shadow that you come back to your wholeness. these bits and bobbles about ourselves, they aren't things to be thrown away in the garbage and avoided and ignored. And like, these are bad things about me. I shouldn't have let that happen. How did I get here? That's what makes your story. It's what makes you who you are. The traumatic things I've experienced in my life, I'm resilient because of them. I am a force to be reckoned with because of them. I will not go down without a fight because of those things. And when I bring those into my wholeness and see that in myself, that's when I can change my future. When I won't see it, or when I give my power to those things and keep me in the past, that's when you get stuck where you are. And sometimes therapy is the answer. And sometimes just seeing that shadow, sewing it right back on like Peter Pan, bringing it back into yourself and saying, you know what, this happened and I feel this way about it. And sometimes I think this thing about myself, and that is my shadow self. That is not true. And then casting a different future. That's shadow work. That's shadow work. And when you're doing shadow work, if something comes up that's just too heavy and you're like, oh no, not talking about that today, not thinking about that today, that's okay. It's okay to take your foot off that pedal and keep moving forward. You don't get a gold prize at the end of the day for like making yourself cry doing shadow work. There's no one there handing out trophies. So you just take your foot off the gas and say, I see that. I see it. And right now I'm going to go for a little walk. That's what I'm going to do, like get yourself through that. Anyway, this has gone on an unexpected tangent. So with that said, I'm going to wrap us up. I have 2 calls coming up with some of our inner circle membership folks. So I'm going to go take a deep breath and regroup for those. And then, Monday we kick off Expedition to Soul. So I hope you're signed up. I hope you have your materials ready. I hope you're excited, because I am clearly excited. So excited. And that is it. If you have any questions, you can always shoot us an email or tag us in the group. And I hope to see y'all and read through your threads starting Monday, read through your comments, and really get to know you. That's always the exciting part about this, is getting to know so many people who I would never have known otherwise, even if it's just through a little tiny circle on Facebook and a comment. It's so great to know that person is out there doing this work. All right, y'all. Have a great weekend. I'll see you around. We kick off on Monday. Bye.